Got this off of eBay for $11. Brand new in the wrap. New World Translation of the Holy Scriptures. Not a bad feeling leatherette type thing. It's not real leather, obviously. You can see the pages have not yet been separated. Obviously, I have my old NWT down there, but this is the current revised 2013 and rendered from the original languages by the New World Bible Translation Committee, revised 2013. Now, it'd be really, really interesting to know who was on the revision of this. I don't know that anyone actually knows that. But it's amazing. This is already 7 years old. Wow. Because I remember when word came out that they had put out a new NWT, and it seemed to me like that was like 3 years ago. It's 2013. That's depressing. But one of the key issues in this, and there's no way I can show this to you, it's too small, but when the NWT first came out in the 50s, it came out in portions. And we know who worked on it. We know who the committee was. The committee had no scholars with any teaching history whatsoever. No translation history, no work in that field, no published works in that field, nothing. Nothing. Now, your average Jehovah's Witness thinks the greatest scholars in the world worked on this translation, when, as far as we know, there was one guy that had 2 years of Koine Greek, was self-taught in Hebrew, and that was it. But it is absurdly literal in most places, horribly literal. Its English is as exciting as chewing on aluminum foil. I mean, it is just that bad. But it was produced for a specific reason. And the reason was to insert Jehovah's Witness doctrine into the Bible, or at least to remove the passages that are most obviously contradictory to Jehovah's Witness doctrine. So when it first came out, Colossians chapter 1 had before, because by means of him all other things were created in the heavens and on earth, the things visible and the things invisible, whether they are thrones or lordships or governments, authorities, all other things have been created through him and for him. Also he is before all other things, and by means of him all other things were made to exist. Colossians chapter 1, verses 16 to 17. There was such a outcry from Christian scholars and everyone else that I'm not sure if the first full printed edition, but shortly thereafter, they put a bracket around the word other to show that this is their interpretation. And that's how it was up until 2013, and now they've taken it out. They've gone back. And I was wondering what the motivations of that would be. Is it that they don't care about what Christians would say, or are there just so few Christians who even talk about them anymore that they figure they can get away with it? I don't know. But my point is, if you see this in someone's hand at church, I remember 20 years ago walking up the aisle at church one night, or well, may not have been anyway, and I remember looking over where a visitor was sitting, and they weren't sitting there, but their stuff was there. And not this one, this is the 2013 edition, but there's a New World Translation. Now, does that automatically mean that the person is a current Jehovah's Witness, a former Jehovah's Witness? No. Because, like I said, I got mine off eBay, and it was brand new. So there are literally millions of copies of the NWT in used bookstores. If there aren't very many used bookstores around anymore either, but the few that are, you will find shelves of NWTs, green ones, and if you can get their old brown one, the large one with the study notes, that's definitely worth having. But anyway, so they may have been given it by a friend. They may not have any idea but it should catch your attention. And someone with some background and knowledge should talk with anybody you see walking with an NWT. Immediate red flag, somebody with apologetic understanding needs to talk to this person and find out where they're coming from and find out if they just think this is just a Bible like every other Bible. Do they know what its background is? You know, I think that's just really, really important. So keep an eye out for it. This is now what the current one looks like. I have a red one down there. I think in the past you'd get like red and black, maybe even brown, but at least red and black. But remember I told you that when was I in Durban last? Sometime last year. Sometime during the summer. I went down to run by the seashore. It's beautiful, beautiful. I love to watch the sunrise. There at what's Umhlanga Bay, something like that. Anyway, really nice area. And I walked out onto this pier. And when I got to the end of the pier, I see there's one guy out there in the dark. And he's preaching to the ocean. And he didn't know I was there. And then I don't know if I think it's when I took a picture, he realized I was there. And so we get together and I said, I didn't mean to interrupt you there or anything. And I was just thinking about this passage from the Psalms. And I looked at his Bible. When he closed the Bible, it was that one, the 2013, the gray one, that it looked identical to that, but he was beat to death. I mean, it was held together with tape. And so I said, so are you one of Jehovah's Witnesses? Yes, but I have a very open mind, I said. And that's what started that conversation. And I'm still, I gave him my number. And one of the things that worries me is I wonder if he did ever try to contact me, I wonder if because it was a foreign number, it wouldn't even get through. That concerns me. That's a possibility. But anyways, we'll see what'll happen.